Well, greetings, Cap fans. Welcome to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. This is episode 296, and I'm your host, Rick Verbanis. I've got a co host. You know his name, it's Bob Lucius. Oh, Bob, if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
I love it, but I don't know who that is. So,
That is a quote from actor, you might have heard of him, Denzel Washington.
Denzel. Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's been in a few
Denzel.
movies. Yeah.
He's been in a couple, handful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's had some staying power.
Yeah, yeah. I like Denzel. He's a great actor.
He really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Uh,
we watched like Gladiator 2 just recently. Maybe.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I didn't really expect much, because obviously Maximus, spoiler, died in the first one. But they actually pulled it together pretty nicely. Denzel has a really great role in it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Uh, he has been in a lot of movies. He was in two movies one year. He was in The Bone Collector. You remember that one?
The Bone Collector. The Bone Collector. I'm not sure.
It was a psychological crime thriller that
Okay.
had Angelina Jolie in it.
Oh, okay.
Um, he plays um, a quadriplegic forensics expert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then he was also in the movie that year called The Hurricane.
The Hurricane.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's about a boxer, but I don't know.
He earned, yeah, it was about a boxer. And he earned Academy Award for Best Actor in that movie.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what year that came out?
1999.
It was 1999, Bob,
Yeah.
which is also the time of this comic that we
Oh
covering
my
today.
gosh.
I
I don't know
know.
how I got that, but
I make it so easy.
yeah.
Yeah. Today we are covering the annual from Captain America comics from 1999.
Yeah, that's exciting. We don't
Yeah.
hit annuals very often, Rick.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
You know?
No. And the reason we wanted to cover this one today is it stars Flag Smasher. And it's been a little while since we've talked about Flag Smasher. And why do we want to do Flag Smasher? Because if you are listening on the day that this comes out, which is June 17th, Flag Day here in the United States is June 14th. We just celebrated Flag Day. Bob, do you do anything special for Flag Day?
I don't, Rick. No,
Mm,
I don't. Uh, yeah, no, I don't.
okay.
Yeah,
No, that's all right.
gosh.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we wanted to tie it into Flag Day. So who better than have done Flag
yeah.
Smasher? Um, Also, if you are listening on the day this comes out, tomorrow, June 18th, would have been Mark Grunwald's birthday.
Indeed, indeed.
Hey, Bob, anything new, fun, or exciting going on with you?
No, I am. I'm looking forward. I'm going on vacation soon.
Mm.
It's a big dealio. I think I might have mentioned we got a family reunion coming up before that. It's sort of my wife's stepmother's family, and then sort of my wife's brothers and sisters. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't know who's going to show up because there's drama. Like there's
Yeah, there's
always
always
drama in
family
family.
drama.
Like so,
Yeah.
like in the last week, it's like now we don't know who's going to show up. So, but we're going,
Mm-hmm.
and so looking forward to that. Oh, hold on, I went out of focus here. There we go. And so anyway, we're gonna do the couple days of the reunion, and then my wife and I we're traveling overseas. We're going to Switzerland, so we're excited
Ah,
about
very
that.
nice.
Yeah,
Ah, the Swiss. Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. When you're over
This
there,
I can't wait to have hot chocolate.
all right.
Yeah, Swiss Miss
Mm.
is my
You
favorite.
know, I, when it comes to Switzerland, you
Yeah.
know, I know some people are excited about it, some people don't like it. You know what? I'm neutral.
Well played. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I always think, like, wow, what am I going to do? We're going to walk up hills, down hills, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I plan on eating a lot of chocolate because apparently they're famous for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about getting a watch. Not for me, but I want to
Mm.
get a watch for my son. And I've got my eye on one, but I know that I could most likely just get it in the United States cheaper. So I'm sort of torn. Like, should I just get it in Switzerland just to say I got it in Switzerland? Or should I just get it in the United States and just tell them I got it in Switzerland?
Why would it be cheaper in the United States if it was Swiss made?
Well, I think it's a global brand, and it used to be an American brand, but now the Swiss bought it out, so now it's, I think, manufactured in Switzerland. But that's just, sometimes it's just the foreign currency exchange and things like that. So
Mm.
things can still be more expensive, and then with the value added tax and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
taxes. So who knows? It might
All
be
right.
cheaper, but I don't know. But I mean, I could just as easily just get it here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I've got kind of got my heart set on that.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
And that'll be something he'll probably treasure and have for a very long time and be like, my dad gave me this.
Yeah, well, I was thinking for hold on to it for graduation. So
Mm.
a couple of
Okay,
years still, but
I gotcha.
yeah,
We are covering an annual tonight, and like you're right, we don't normally cover annual. So how how do you store your comics? So for the Captain America collection,
yeah,
you have, I'm sure you have some annuals and one shots and things like that.
sure,
Do
yeah,
you do you separate them away from the regular series, or do you like, no, I put them in chronological order. So this
yeah,
annual came out between this regular comic and this regular
yeah,
comic, and I put it right there.
yeah. No, I
How
don't
do
do
you
that.
do it?
Yeah, I just I do it by volume, and then I just slap the ones that are associated with that volume in there. But
So you
it's
do them in chronological order. Okay.
well, no, but I put all like the annuals together, so they're not like in between. Like if it came out between 49 and 50, that's when the annual came out. I wouldn't put it between 49 and 50. I would just put them at the end of that volume. Yeah,
Ah, so
and
there's a
I
third way.
yeah, and I think it's actually I've noticed this, and I'm sure you have, and I'm sure other people have in the Captain America series. There's a couple different ways to do annuals, right? So sometimes they have like like this. We're doing Captain America Annual 99, 1999, and sometimes they're like Captain America Annual number 13.
Yeah, well, I think they stopped doing the numbers,
Yeah,
and then they just went to the year because
right.
that way they could call it a number one.
Okay, well there you go. I guess that's the reason. I always wondered why they did that. So that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. I mean, if you look at this particular one, it says Captain America Annual number one,
Yeah,
and but it has at the top 1999,
yeah.
right? So it's referred to as a 99 annual, but technically, I think if you look at the indicia or something, it'll say
Yeah.
number one on it.
Oh, I like what you say that again. Say indica.
Indicia.
Man, I love the way that you pronounce French. I don't know if that's French.
I don't think so.
Oh, we would. Yeah.
So I actually have a drawer of anything that's not in the regular series.
Okay.
So I put my annuals there first,
Yeah.
and then I go in relatively chronological order of one
Yeah.
shots and miniseries, and I put those there.
Yeah. Now, in some instances, like tonight, like the annual it's a standalone story, right?
Hmm.
But in some annuals, there's like a continuation.
Yeah, I know.
It gets confusing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or yeah, because or they would have crossovers with other annuals,
Right. Yeah.
right? So Marvel loved to do that. So whether it was the Serpent Affair, Serpent Crown Affair, I remember they did that, and it was like Avengers, Fantastic Four, and Silver Surfer somehow,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah. Right.
um, and then
Yeah.
they did annuals where they were like introducing like new villains or something like that, and you're like, oh, this is the first appearance of a character. I need to get that because it might be this character may be
Right.
hot someday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And none of them were. None of them were. Yeah.
Yeah. Smart though. Smart move.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Business.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we should get to the annual. It is a little long, so
It
let's
is
uh
lengthy. Yeah.
let's jump into that.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup meal at McDonald's is underway with one of 9 legendary cups in the lineup. Christian Pulisic, David Beckham, Lamine Yamal, Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry, Son Heung-min, Alphonso Davies, Santi Jimenez. And between the posts, it's Grimace. Get one of 9 collectible cups with a FIFA World Cup meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time while supplies last. All rights reserved. 2026 McDonald's at FIFA World Cup 2026.
This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam, you came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
Well, it's a great cover, Rick.
Yeah, do you want to take the listeners through the cover?
So let's just jump into that. So we've got an amazing city scene, and we're looking down at the skyscrapers from up above, and right there, tussling right in front of our eyes, above the city, the rooftops, we see Captain America, and wow, there's this guy, and he doesn't look like the flag smasher we know and love.
Right.
There's something like wrong with this guy. But obviously the cover says Captain America, the Return of the Flag Smasher, and he's carrying the Flag Smasher's mace. But this guy, his whole body is gray. And so he's missing the upper part of the Flag Smasher uniform, and he's missing that cowl. And he almost.
And cape.
In cape. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In cape. And his skin is gray. His hair is gray, and his eyes are like a gleaming red. And he looks like he's full of rage, and he's bringing that mace down, or he's poised to anyway, on Captain America, who he's holding, by the way, by the neck with his left hand, and across his chest, it says "Smash." So right off the bat, right, you're like, well, this is supposed to be Flag Smasher. What the heck's going on with this dude?
Yeah, it does not look like Flag Smasher. I mean, for a minute there, you could be like, "Oh, is that Wonder Man?" Because it's
sure, yeah,
you just don't know. But yeah, it is a little interesting because the last time we saw Flag Smasher, at least in the pages of Captain America, was Captain America 438, which is back in '95, and there was a story there. His first appearance was way back in 1985 in Captain America 312. And then in 86, he did that 321, 322. We actually covered that way back in episode number 10. And we covered those 3 issues, 312, 321, 322. So if you don't really know Flag Smasher and you want to get the origin and some early battle between him and Cap, make sure you listen to episode 10 and check that out. So yeah, he's this is I want to say this is the 16th appearance of Flag Smasher in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, he's gotten around a bit.
Yeah,
although titles.
Although he was killed in Cable and Deadpool in 2006, and then a different person took the role of Flag Smasher.
Okay, yeah.
So enjoy him while you can, people.
Poor Carl.
Yeah. Would you like me to read the solicitation?
I do.
It's political intrigue and star-spangled action after a murder is committed at the United Nations. All fingers point to Cap's old sparring partner, the Flag Smasher. So we have on that cover that you mentioned, the artist was Pablo Raimondi and Walden Wong, and those are the penciler and inker of the interior parts as well. Pablo, I really didn't know much about his work, so I looked him up, and this is actually, I think, only like his 5th work, and he mostly just did a bunch of fill-ins in 94, 95, 96, 97. Like he would do like one one comic a year or something like that. So he really wasn't getting a lot of work before doing this. And then he eventually maybe got some runs of 4, 5, or 6 comics to a series, but I don't think he's done anything in the biz since 2011 that I can see. And then the writer Joe Casey. Now Joe Casey actually has started writing comics in '97, and so now Joe's he might still be around. He's done his share of runs for Marvel and DC over the years. But prior to doing this annual, which was his first take on Captain America, so for like the 2 years prior to that, he was mostly doing writing Cable and Incredible Hulk. And so he was writing those on an ongoing basis, and then some other fill-ins as well. So that is the writer and the artist. And then as far as the colorist, we have Matt Hicks and Maria Javins. We have two colors, which might explain some of the inconsistencies. Letterer is Paul Tatrone and editor Bobby Chase. This had a cover date of August of 1999 and release date of August 11th.
Good information, Rick. I love the fact that you, especially some of these more obscure, authors and artists. I love that you get the background for them and you share that with the listener and with me as well, because a lot of these guys we're not familiar with, and this is a pretty fun story. So that'd be interesting if you like it. Go find whatever else Joe Casey. I'm sorry, Joe Casey has written.
Yeah, he's gone on to write some good stories. He had some uh, long runs with Adventures of Superman. He wrote that for a long time. He also did I guess it was the all ages version of it was called Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he wrote that in 2004 and 2005, and then there was a sequel. He did that in 2006, 2007. He, as I mentioned before, had a long run on Cable,
Mm-hmm.
and Deathlock. He was doing Deathlock
Okay.
for a little while there too. So as you know, I'm a Deathlock fan.
You are, yeah.
All right. So as we turn to the opening page, it is not a splash. It has multiple panels. Looks like 9 panels here, and it has at the top Stan Lee presents
Captain America, Full Court Press.
United Nations Building, New York City. And it is nighttime. There is a crescent moon in the sky. And we see inside the United Nations, there's a little ransacking of an office going on. You see men in suits with gloves and flashlights going through files, looking for things. And then outside of the office, there is a security guard wearing his blues and his hat, and he is getting hit in the head with a mace,
Thud.
which catches the attention of the guys inside. So they go and search outside the door to see what's going on, and they see a character with a spray paint bottle spray painting on the wall. And what does it say, Bob?
It says, no more disunity, anti-nationalism now.
And it's the Flag Smasher as described on the cover.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is a little off-putting. And he looks at the one of the guys who's standing there, and he has this devilish grin on his face, and his eyes are red, and he looks at him and it says, "Policy." Oh my God, he's lost it. Come on. And they go running toward him, and he crunches the can. And then there's one of the guys is still in the office, and he's taking pictures, and he's like, "Huh? What's going on? I'm not done in here. I knew we shouldn't have brought this vegetable. Give him the shot already, will you?" And they go over to him and give him some sort of hypodermic needle with red liquid. 2 seconds. Checkpoint, Victor. Come in, checkpoint. Checkpoint. We're coming up. Over. All right, I got it. What's happening out here? Just a little snag, and they're giving the injection in the back of Slag Smasher's neck. Checkpoint, Victor. Do you read me? Acknowledge. It's one of the other guards. So they start going up and coming out of the elevator as the two guys are dragging Flag Smasher away, leaving the guard on the ground. You got him? Yeah, and the camera too. Let's go. And they bust open the door of the stairwell, and they're going down. But the last guy, who was still in the room, he comes out, but the guard's there. He's got a pistol on him. Hold it, you! Don't move. And he's caught. So then we cut to the next scene, and there it's morning, and there is a blonde guy with a little bit of a scruffy kind of shaggy looking beard, and he's laying in bed, and the phone is ringing.
Ring ring.
Yeah, Frank, this is Robbie Robinson. Rise and shine, sleepyhead. Hey, it's Robbie Robinson from the Daily Bugle. Who's he?
I love that guy. Isn't he like the city editor working for J. Jonah Jameson?
I don't know if he is an editor. Um, I think he's like the managing editor.
Managing editor. All right.
Yeah, but he's like the voice of reason there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because these next panels are done in a way a little reminiscent of Frank Miller's Dark Knight, where there's just a whole bunch of squares, and underneath the dialogue is done, in a box underneath the image, as opposed to word balloons.
Yeah.
And he does this several times in this story.
It looks like when they do an illustrated rendering for like a movie script. I can't remember it now. I'm getting older. I can't remember what it's called. But it almost looks like that. Yeah.
There's been a break-in at the United Nations. You there? Yeah, I'm here. A break-in, huh? Hold on. And he grabs his pad and pen. A murder, too? Did they make an arrest already? Caught him in the act, huh? Did you call Davis? Yeah. You two get down to the arraignment and see what you can find out. So Franken and Davis are down at the court in the background, watching as the judge is arraigning the guy who was caught. Mr. Carroll, your client is charged with burglary in the second degree and murder in the first degree. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. Fine. State your name and profession for the record, please, sir. Ken Bradley, security consultant, retired. Security consultant. For whom, Mr. Bradley? And Franken thinks to himself, this should be good. Brand Industries, Your Honor. What? Did he just say what I think he said? Yep, it got very interesting. Your trial is set for October 3rd, Mr. Bradley. 1 month from now. And then we cut to the Daily Bugle.
Ring.
Sid, Dan Davis on line 2. Yeah, Danny. I'm sitting in front of a story that's half done, pal. I checked my police contacts and I couldn't get much on Bradley. Guy's an enigma. Well, I just got a glimpse of the crime scene, Franken. What I saw was weird. Weird, huh? I like weird. So get back here and let's put it to bed. Deadline, people. You fellas got the story yet? Right here, Robbie. Hmm. No more disunity. Anti-nationalism now. Strange graffiti, huh? You're alluding to some pretty thin connections here, fellows. Those are the facts. That is the story so far. So you say. All right, we'll go with it. And then we see a headline in the Daily Bugle that says "Murder at UN." And then we cut to the next scene, and Franken and Davis are at their desks, but it looks like they've been. They looks like they've been ransacked. There's notes and papers everywhere. Hey, all my notes on the UN story are gone. Mine too. Sally, who's been messing with our desks? I saw Robbie and Mr. Jameson over here earlier before you guys got here. She points back to the room. Are you kidding me? They want to give the story away? And then Franken bursts open the door. Jameson, you may sign the checks, but you got a lot of nerve. And he busted on the room, and J. Jonah Jameson's sitting behind the desk, and he won't have any of it. I must be seeing things. I know I didn't just see two scrub reporters come busting into my office. You two want to see some nerve? Oh. And who's there, Bob?
Oh my gosh, it's Captain America. And he's holding those papers, their notes, and he's like reading them as he's looking out the window.
Fellas, your story generated a little interest. And Cap turns and smiles. I requested the notes, gentlemen. Mr. Jameson. Cool your jets, Franken. You know me. I don't like having to cooperate with these folks, but the man's got Avengers priority clearance. I read your story in the paper this morning. Some of the details, the slogans found on the wall, set off some alarm bells for me. I had to know what you knew, if there was anything that didn't make it into print. Here you go. And he hands him back. And he shakes Jameson's hand. You've been more than accommodating, Jonah. I'm grateful. Yeah, well, let's not make a habit of this, all right? And Cap walks out, shield on his back. And then we cut to the next scene. He comes here to think. This place has always seemed so close to something he could call home. Avengers Mansion, home of Earth's mightiest heroes. No more disunity. Anti-nationalism now. And Cap is having a workout. It's all points to an old enemy, Flag Smasher. And at the same time, we're kind of going back between a memory and Cap in action, hitting things with his shield. Flag Smasher was last seen attacking the Channel between England and France. When did that happen, Bob?
That was in a Marvel Team Up, number 3, volume 2, of course.
Ironic. And then he kicks, breaks something. He's heard rumors of his return to the States. Nothing too serious, nothing like this. Since when did Flag Smasher associate with common burglars? He needs to know more. Wanda, can I help you? And then we see the Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch doesn't even bother to ask how he knew she was in the control booth. What are you doing in here, Steve? Just thinking. And look at that scene, Bob.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Well, it looks like some very, very large, RoboCop type mechanized, like killing machines that are now in a serious need of repair. Because all those scenes that you were describing of Cap getting a workout, he was pummeling them with his shield and fist and, busting them up.
And then we cut to a diner, and Franken and Davis are sitting there eating and also working. Franken's got his laptop, Davis has got his notepad. Nice place. Service here's gone downhill lately. The fact that Captain America shows up at the office to get a grander at our notes says a lot. There's a lot more to this than what we reported. I can feel it. You remember that attack on the Carnelian ambassador at the Lion God show? Yeah, Carnelia just officially recognized Trebekistan. Trebekistan?
Trebekistan?
Yeah, Trebekistan.
It's named after Alex Trebek.
Oh, nice. Are you serious?
I don't know.
There's been talk of UN membership. The office was burglarized, a temporary setup for the Trebeks until this thing gets settled. So the question is, what does Trebekistan have of interest to anyone? I'd guessed oil, but whatever it is, it's interesting enough to kill a security guard over. But that doesn't explain the graffiti. We need more info on Bradley. Was he working for someone? Someone other than Brand, you mean? Hey, you ever seen him in person before? Who? Cap? Nah. You? Nope. My grandfather used to talk about him all the time. Fought alongside him once in Europe during the war. Hey, Davis, you want to join me in the present? Sorry, I'm here. Let me see those notes. What are we missing here? We've got pieces, but I have no idea what the puzzle's supposed to look like. Too many loose ends. Things we don't know. What was Bradley looking for? Who hired him? Who wrote the graffiti? Why is Cap interested? Yeah, if there is a connection, we've got to find out what it is. Let's get back to the phones. Hi, is this Kevin Stein? Mr. Stein, this is Sid Franklin of the Daily Bugle. Mr. Stein, I know you served as VP under James Melvin at the Brand Corporation. I was wondering, you mean Bradley didn't make his phone call from jail? How does lawyer get there? Mr. Franklin, if Mr. Bradley is still involved in covert activities, then I certainly wouldn't know of it. Pardon me, sir, but who said anything about covert activities? And then they go sharing the notes after their phone calls. I've got some good stuff. Bradley's not your average burglar. Covert activities. That's an understatement. No one worked at Brand is willing to talk now that the FBI's sniffing around. They want Bradley moved to a more secure lockup. Don't ask me why. You got anything else? Still nothing on the graffiti, and nothing on why Captain America would be interested in it. What does he know? And then we cut to a very large panel here of Cap. Where is he?
I think he's at Shield, right?
Yeah, I guess he is. He's at a computer. What would you call that? Console? I mean,
Yeah, that's a big console. Yeah.
Data requested, priority alpha, opening classified file, Bradley, Kenneth, H. And Cap reads about him. Cut back to Daily Bugle. Hey, I just remembered something. Didn't the Department of Justice investigate Brand a few years ago? That was rocks and oil they were investigating. Right, but in the course of that investigation, Roxxon supposedly shut down the Brand Corporation to cover up their illegal activities. Well, they never publicly admitted that connection. Oh, come on. Just because they never admitted it, that doesn't mean it isn't true. And Cap is, I guess he just got dropped off by S.H.I.E.L.D. on top of a rooftop.
It looks like it. It seems like an unnecessary panel. You know, it raises more questions than it answers. But yeah, I think that's what's happening.
Well, and it's like Cap's waving at them. Like, thanks, appreciate it.
It's the Shield Uber, Schuber.
Yeah. So he nice panel here. Cap kind of acrobatically leaping forward with the shield in his right hand. Okay, I just got off the phone with my justice contact. This is on deep background. Something about the Brand Corporation. They were the center of Roxxon's covert activities division. I told you they were in bed together. Rocks and oil is a big fish, Davis. They won't roll over easily. If we could just talk to Bradley. He hasn't talked to anyone yet. Are we going to make deadline? No problem. Rocks and oil. He types away. I wonder if Cap's figured it out. What do you think, Bob? Does Cap figure it out?
I think he probably has, Rick.
Yeah, he's standing there on top of a building looking at the Roxxon building. And Cap looks pleased. Later that night in the Roxxon building, the two guys that were in that office before, ransacking, that got away with Flag Smasher, they're sitting at a conference table and walking with his hands behind his back towards the window, looking out at the cityscape, is an older gentleman. Have you gentlemen seen the Bugle this morning? The public believes in their government because the press tells them to. They can convict an innocent man because the press calls him guilty. It's a powerful tool. I don't like it when it's used against me. And now that is a distinct possibility. You men are supposed to plug press leaks and garner information by any means necessary. I recognize that in order to do so, methods may be employed that would be frowned upon by the authorities, but you were never authorized to use Roxxon resources to further your goals. This was a simple task I gave you. As president of Roxxon Oil, it falls to me to delegate such responsibilities. Some plumbers you turned out to be, eh? How would you describe this man, the president?
Yeah. So as you said, he's a much older gentleman, and he's got a very long, drawn face with bushy white eyebrows, and he reminds me of someone, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Rick, some old actor from perhaps the 40s or 50s, but he's a very sinister looking gentleman.
Oh, he is. Yes,
Yeah.
sure. Mr. Haldeman, things got a little out of hand. We thought we administered the proper dosage to... Please, no more. We figured we need the extra security. We didn't... Come with me, gentlemen. Downstairs. And they get to downstairs, and who's there, Bob?
Oh, well, they open a door, and in what looks like a very dark, room of some sort.
A cell.
A cell, yeah. You see the Flag Smasher, as we saw him in that initial scene at the United Nations and on the cover, and he's sitting in a chair with his mace, and that's plural, mace. I don't know what that is, at his feet, and he's just sitting in a chair, sort of with a creepy grin on his face.
Here we are. You're familiar with our associate? Of course you are. We take our association very seriously. He is the property of the Roxxon Oil Company. This is the future of industrial espionage. It helps tremendously that we share similar worldviews. Of course, he is quite mad, his brain damaged by a plunge into icy waters. But we found a way around that. And he puts his hand on top of a shorter gentleman, but probably even older, who's wearing a kind of a doctor's coat and carrying a doctor's bag. Yes, sir. His personality, his mood swings, his immediate priorities are malleable depending on the different chemicals we administer. Dr. Bob, if you please. And he pulls out a syringe. With pleasure. What? This particular mixture puts him in quite a state. A blind, bloody rage. His only desire is to kill. I'd hate to be anywhere near him when it takes effect. Sir, we obtained the info you requested. Please don't. Wait. And they close the cell door behind them.
Oh,
no! Lock the door, Dr. Bob. We shall return when the screaming stops. And then we cut to the Daily Bugle, and Robbie Robertson is at the front of a meeting room table, and he's got his staff around. Okay, let's wrap this up. These budget meetings are starting to drag. Foreign. Anything else? No, although Franken and Davis are pushing some of my guys to get in on this UN thing. Those guys are nuts. Did you see Davis' memo about rocks and oil? I did. Without confirmations, none of that will see print, I assure you. Davis could be a little too enthusiastic. You know, the Roxon's connection make a lot of sense if you think about it. Oh, come on, Catherine. You're Metro Desk. Of course you're going to defend them. Come back to reality. I don't want to give up any of my reporters, Robbie. They're connecting dots that aren't there. As far as I'm concerned, this is still police reporting. Avengers in our office notwithstanding. Robbie, the implications are valid. I know, Catherine, but we have to be careful. You don't go printing accusations of major corporations involved in illegal activities without proof. That's how lawsuits get started. Why don't you just concentrate on the national desk, Sam? Let me worry about that's enough, both of you. We're walking a tightrope here, no doubt about it. I say tread lightly. UN reps are already sweeping the murder under the rug. They're saying, man caught, case closed. All right, let's break. We'll put the garbage strike under the fold and hold off on this Roxanne thing. They're not going to like that, Robbie. Well, until they get the facts, they'll have to get used to it. What is it, Sam? Be careful, Robbie. Calvin Halderman's a respected member of the business community. I'm sure he's already gotten wind of this. I know. Let's just hope he's not feeling overly litigious. We cut to that night in the jailhouse, and there's a police truck that is going into the gates, through the gates. And they get out, and guy's there to pick up Bradley. And he has to sign there. Bradley's being escorted to the truck. He's outside. All right, into the back of the wagon. But a mace comes and hits that guy in the back of the head.
Rock.
Ugh. What? Oh, no. Oh, no. I knew it. I knew it. You guys didn't move me fast enough. Get me out of here. Come on. And who is it, Bob?
Oh my God, it's the flag smasher, Rick.
And he is coming down, hands in a choking hold move, and he's grimacing, and all he says is, policy. No, he's going to kill me. Somebody, call for backup. Call for backup. Do it. This guy looks crazy. And he does. No more boundaries. And he throws the mace, and just before it hits Ken Bradley, Cap's shield comes out in the way and deflects the mace, and it makes a noise. New look, Flag Smasher. And a shield comes back into Cap's right hand. No more divisions. Destroy the symbol. And he pulls out his other mace, and he swings, and Cap kicks him in the solar plexus.
Boom.
Come on. Let's go. Get me out of here, you idiots. But somehow, Flag Smasher hits Cap in the head with the mace.
Clue.
And as Cap is on his knees, Flag Smasher takes the mace, puts it over his head, and with a big swoop comes right down, and Cap gets out of the way, and it hits the ground.
Clank.
So Cap gives him a right cross
Tuh.
and a left with the shield in his head.
Crack.
Petty abstractions. And as the Police van pulls away. He turns away from Cap and in that direction throws the mace, but Cap yells out, "No, not the propane." And he hits the propane tank just as the thing is driving by and explodes.
Boom.
Not good. And there's a big thing of fire and smoke. Your target's gone, soldier. Give it up. No resolution. No resolution. You're obviously sick. We can get you some help. And then there's a police officer running out. The fire's inside. Prisoners and personnel are trapped. That's all he needed to hear. The shift in priorities is immediate. He knows that this will allow Flag Smasher to escape, and those he will be saving, thieves, murderers, he could let them burn, maybe no less than they deserve. He doesn't even think twice about it, and he runs into the burning building. The next day, it looks to be, I would say, morning time with the way where the sun is at. We see Franken on a lawn chair on the top of the roof, sunning himself, and there's a newspaper over his head. By the way, Bob, I don't know if you noticed, there's a skylight there.
There is a skylight there. Yeah.
Yeah. And what does it say on the cover of the Daily Bugle?
It says jailhouse fire.
Just a routine fire story. Cap standing over it. Huh? Oh, it's you. Hey, at least we made the front page. You had to know they were moving Bradley. Yeah, we had a source on that, but without confirmation, we can't print a thing. So you get a routine fire story. Obviously, someone wants Bradley silenced. He's a loose end, and our source also puts you at the scene. You willing to go on the record? Cap just stands there silently. Didn't think so. No one will talk to us. I don't even know why we're chasing this story. Because it's your job. The press is one of the last bastions of truth in this country. We depend on the First Amendment to guarantee it. You and I both know it is less and less often that the press accurately serves the public. Rather, it's special interest groups like Roxxon that seem to control exactly what the public is exposed to. Not the real truth, but their version of it. Real truth doesn't come easy. It's your commitment to delivering that truth that benefits us all. Quite a speech there. Easy to say when you're wearing a mask. But some of us live in the real world, where we know bad things happen and we're helpless to affect change. Tell me what you know, what your editor won't print. It's not quite what we know, it's what we believe. The murder at the UN? Not part of the plan. Looks like Bradley was getting info on Trebekistan's oil reserves, so the intent was industrial espionage. Bradley used to do the same stuff for the Brand Corporation. Now we think he's doing it for Roxxon. They want the oil rights cheap if they can get them. But there's no proof. The story's stalled. You need to take the next logical step. I've had some dealings with Roxxon in the past. There's corruption there that tends to lead all the way to the top office. Don't be afraid of what you believe. Sometimes it's all we've got. And Cap jumps off the building and he says, but don't quote me on that. That's a cool scene.
That is a very cool scene. Yeah.
Too bad the color has screwed up Cap's stripe.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. That's the inconsistency I was talking about.
Yeah. He's got a six pack though. His abs are looking good.
Yeah. So we cut back to the Daily Bugle, and Franken is talking to his editor, and Davis is there as well. He said that corruption tends to go all the way to the top. Halderman, I knew it. Think this trip is worth anything, Davis? I mean, what's he going to say to us? You know, we may not be the most seasoned reporters, but that could work for us. Let's just talk to him and see what we shake loose. Maybe we can rattle him a little. Here comes our stop. And they're actually, they weren't at Daily because they were on the subway. We're here to see Calvin Halderman, please. And the guard there is like, that's not possible. Mr. Halderman doesn't see anyone without any appointment. So you might as well just look. It's really in his best interest to give us a quote on this. And the phone rings. Front desk. Yeah, I got a pair of bugle reporters down here. Shall I? Pardon me? Fine. Go right up. Who do you think that was on the phone? One guess. And they arrive at the top, and the elevator opens the door, and who's waiting there?
It is none other than Calvin Hardiman himself, Rick.
Gentlemen, welcome. Being an avid bugle reader, I'll admit I'm not shocked to see you here. There's a tone in your writing that indicates to me that you want to say a lot more than your publisher would allow. Jonah's an interesting man. Met him a few times. Always looked uncomfortable in a tuxedo. Well, forgive my digression. Let's get this over with. And they go into his office. He sits behind his big desk that has a globe that is like ginormous. But he has a beautiful cityscape. Any statements I make are off the record. Obviously, I won't be discussing any details of your story for two reasons. First of all, it was nothing to do with me or my company. And secondly, I make it a rule not to speak directly to the newspapers. I find print media to be inadequate in expressing real truth. But as I said, I detected a tone in your writing that suggested a lack of understanding as to what we do here at Roxon. Gentlemen, I am about to honor you with a gift, the gift of insight. Something you seem to be lacking in your veiled implications that this company is somehow involved in that messy business at the UN. As president of Roxon Oil, I have a certain point of view, more forward thinking than the average American might consider. The average American sees the world in very antiquated terms: property lines, city councilmen, national borders, continental divides. Mr. Halderman, about Trebekistan. I'm talking now, young man. The real truth of the world is this: there are no borders, no governments, only corporations. Corporations run the world. It's just that simple. This is a truth beyond judgment. So for two reporters from a local newspaper to come here to talk to me without first acknowledging that simple truth is absurd. That's all I have to say. You can see yourselves out, I take it. So the next day, we see the two of them, Franken and Davis, and they're actually at the new uh, jail cell to talk to Bradley. Why did you want to talk to us, Mr. Bradley? Why now? I've been reading the Bugle. You two seem to be the only ones who care what's going on. You sure you don't want a lawyer here for this? I hate lawyers. Besides, what's the difference? I'm dead anyway. Why do you say that? Because it's true. The feds moved me once, but Halderman sent his flunky to shut me up permanently. Captain America showed up, so I'm still breathing. But Halderman won't give up. It's just a matter of time. So you're willing to go on the record about Halderman? Yeah. First of all, I didn't kill anybody. Everything just went wrong up there. We were getting a peek at paperwork concerning foreign oil rights, and Halderman wanted the info early. He said it was smart business. Now that he's willing to cut me loose, the truth needs to come out. I know that puts me on the hot seat, but even Captain America can't be everywhere at once. And there's a guard listening in on all of this. Forget the murder. Forget Halderman's flunky. You're missing the big picture. Halderman is the real villain here, manipulating oil prices, strong arming the competition. It's not the first time he's done this. I may just be a hired hand, but that's just plain un American, you know? Hold it. You're talking too fast. Let's start again from the beginning. And we cut back to the Daily Bugle, and it is now J. Jameson's office, and Robbie's sitting there, and the two are going over the conversation they just had. He said all this, every word of it. Jonah, Ken Bradley went on the record. It's all there, and it's solid stuff. A murder suspect, a confession with no lawyer present? It sounds fishy. He wouldn't talk otherwise. Come on, he put all the pieces together for us. The story will write itself. You fellas should realize this doesn't end just because we print a story. Actually, it's just the beginning. Absolutely. This story is going to get the Justice Department involved, and they'll go after Halderman. Men like Calvin Halderman don't fall down so easily. He's an important man. We have to be sure of ourselves. Jonah, I think the boys know that. I'm all for caution. And this story was thin before, but now it's our duty to go forward. Franken, Davis, be careful how you write it. Very careful. I'll keep our lawyers on deck. 18 hours later, we're back at the Avengers Mansion, and it's Jarvis. The Morning Bugle, sir. And he hands Cap the paper as he's sitting there drinking his coffee with his mask down, his gloves off. Thanks, Jarvis. And he's sipping his coffee and reading the paper. Sounds like you, Bob.
Yeah, I love it.
And what's the headline say?
UN burglar speaks, implicates Roxxon oil involvement.
And then we cut to XBC TV station, and it's Hardman. I respect the free press, but what I don't respect is the irresponsible journalism practiced by Mr. Jameson and his staff at the Bugle. I think it's par for the course for big business to be scrutinized, but there's a limit to accusation and innuendo. Halderman's lawyers had more to say on the matter, citing libel laws. He didn't exactly refute the story, did he? It's a non-denial denial, but he's got reason to be confident. I think we'll probably sue. Why? We've got this story cold. The UN burglar on the record, with Bradley's statements. The Justice Department will jump all over this with him as their star witness. Bradley said he testified. It's going down just like I said it would. I don't think so. This is why I called you in, fellas. Ken Bradley won't be talking to anyone ever again. He was found dead in his cell block early this morning, stabbed to death by another prisoner with a homemade shiv. A guard shot the prisoner, so we'll never know the motive. The police don't plan on going public with it until this afternoon. Halderman had a guy on the inside to kill Bradley. Looks that way. There goes our source and the Justice Department's too. Now it's our word against Halderman's. And then we cut to WNBC TV station. Major libel suit brought against the Daily Bugle and its outspoken publisher, J. Jonah Jameson, by the Roxxon Oil Company. Ted Chin is at the Bugle offices. Deborah, we've been told that Jameson himself will make a statement. The stakes are high. If Roxxon gets the verdict, the Bugle's out of business. Wait, here comes Jameson. Our lawyers are currently reviewing the particulars of this case, but we stand by our story. Don't forget, there's been a pair of murders here. Now, if you'll excuse me, get those mics out of my face. Out of the way. And then we cut to Franken, who is walking into the parking garage. And from the shadows, going somewhere. Whoa, you scared the daylights out of me. Yeah, I'm going to work, of course. I'm here to tell you something. Something important. You're finally going to go on the record? This could really save our bacon. No. I'm here to warn you. Your lives and your partners are in danger. You don't say. And you still won't go on record. No wonder we're dropping the story. It's all too big. Too much. Haldeman's going to tear the Bugle down. We don't have a case. With Bradley dead, it looks like Davis and I made up the whole thing. We're thinking about resigning. I wouldn't. One thing about villains, they tend to get sloppy when they think victory is in sight. And you have the one weapon that no man can stand against, no matter how powerful he may seem. The truth. There's more. Hey, I don't need a lecture from you. We did everything we could, chased down every lead, and at every turn we got blindsided. What good is the truth when Haldeman makes up his own rules and wins by him? Haldeman hasn't won yet. He has in his employ an old enemy of mine, Flag Smasher. He was the one who killed the guard at the UN. He also went after Bradley when they moved him out of Manhattan. Flag Smasher's not in his right mind, manipulated by Haldeman somehow to do his dirty work. But he's dangerous, and he may be coming after you next. You're kidding me, right? Haldeman would actually send this goon to snuff out a pair of reporters? Why did you bring this Flag Smasher in? Call in your Avenger pals? You've done it before, I assume. I'm doing everything I can. That's why I'm here. To warn you, not to frighten you. You have to move ahead with your reporting. Flag Smasher is the key to linking Haldeman to the UN murder. Dig up what you can on him, based on what I'm about to tell you. Then get it into print. I can't play bodyguard every minute. You need to draw him out. I'll do the rest. It's up to you. 30 minutes later, back in J. Jonah Jameson's office again. So that's everything he told me. We have to keep on this story. Take it back to police reporting. I don't know, Franken. That libel suit's hanging over our heads. You really talked to him? If these notes are accurate, if this is what Cap told you, then maybe this isn't over. Haldeman's threats, his lawsuit, those corporatites think they can run the world, don't they? Well, I've got news for him. Nobody pushes J. Jonah Jameson around, especially when he's got the truth on his side. And he storms out. Guess that's a yes. Then we cut to that cell that Flag Smasher was at, and Haldeman is down there beneath the Roxon building. Once again, I must call upon you to act in the name of your ideals. Yours is a belief we share, that nationalism only serves the current disunity among humanity. The answer, my friend, is in corporations like Roxon Oil. Only corporations provide that sought-after unity in this modern world. That is why you serve me so well. The chemicals we developed enhance your commitment. They have worked superbly. A skin discoloration is merely a side effect, I assure you. In any case, our contact at the Bugle tells us that they are going forward with a story that connects you with me. This cannot happen. I will not tolerate more lies in the press. These reporters are still at the Bugle office. You will go there. Dr. Bob, if you please. Then we cut back to the Daily Bugle. It is nighttime. And Bob, what is on the side of the building?
It's a huge billboard, Rick, and it's got J. Jonah Jameson pointing at us, and it says, real New Yorkers read the Bugle.
I always love that. I always love when someone who says a real fan does this, you
Yeah,
know,
we love gatekeeping.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, I'm glad about our Facebook group. Like, we don't have that.
Yeah, I
We don't
know.
have someone go, well, a real Cap fan would know, blah, 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 or real Cap fan would think, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's silly.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. I just,
Yeah.
I hate that.
That's true.
This may be the most biased story this paper's ever run that didn't involve Spider Man. Ever see Jameson so intense? Not without webbing stuck all over his face. You sure we can't leave? It's late. Everyone's gone home. I'm not going anywhere near my apartment. Halderman might have some psycho waiting there. And flying in the air is Flag Smasher, but he's using some contraption to fly. What is that, Bob?
It is like a gigantic jetpack on his back, but they're not really jetpacks. They've got big, like rotary turbine engines, duals that over each shoulder, and with handheld controls that are connected by cables to the backpack. It's quite a contraption.
He really is. And he's flying towards the Daily Bugle. Hey, I may be an amateur conspiracy nut, but don't you think this borders on paranoia? And then just like on cue comes Flag Smasher smashing through a double window.
Crash!
And he takes his jetpack off and tosses it. And he just uses that quote from before. Policy. Head for the stairwell. And then running towards the stairwell, they run right into, who is it?
Oh my God, they run right into Cap. I love this panel, right? Because his head smacks right into the star on Cap's chest. That tells you how big Cap is.
Holy, find some cover. And he throws his shield, but the Flag Smasher uses his mace to hit it away.
Clang!
And it hits the jetpack.
Boom!
And he catches the shield and runs towards him. But somehow, Flag Smasher hits Cap so hard that he's falling backwards.
Thud!
And Cap lands next to the sizzling backpack. The jetpack's overheating. I think it's about to. And all of a sudden it explodes.
Boom!
And Cap and Flag Smasher go falling out of the building right past that hideous billboard. And then they land with Flag Smasher first, Cap on top of him at the next building. And they get up, and Flag Smasher has a mace in both hands. Destroy the symbols. And Cap just does a jump kick and kicks him in the head.
That's a pretty good panel. He's like a spinning, roundhouse kick. Crack!
And then he nails him with a right with the shield.
Oh.
This could go on forever. Have to take him out when he's not expecting it. And this next sequence is pretty cool. So Cap throws his shield, which ricochets against two walls and then goes past Flag Smasher. But Cap jumps, puts his hands on both maces with each hand. Petty abstractions. And he uses the maces somehow to shake Flag Smasher loose, knocking him back, and then times it perfectly so that the shield ends its ricochet into Flag Smasher's jaw. Then hits another wall and comes back into Cap's hand just as Flag Smasher is falling forward onto the ground. And then we see the next scene is the newspaper. What does it read, Bob?
Flag Smasher. Convicted criminal is Roxxon employee.
And Hardaway is reading the paper and he does not look pleased. Then we cut back to the TV, WNBC. Tumultuous events at the Roxxon Oil Company. following an article appearing in the Daily Bugle concerning Calvin Halderman's connection to the murder of a UN security guard. Halderman himself had no comment other than the official press release outlining the terms of his resignation, effective immediately. New Roxxon president Don Kaminsky praised Halderman for his years of service, assuring the business world that he had so embraced him that he and his family would be, quote, well taken care of due to a healthy severance agreement. And who's watching the news, but in Robbie's office, and we see Davis and Franken. Can you believe that slippery piece of... It's a corporate way, isn't it? The fabled golden parachute. He's still under indictment, you know. Yeah, right. That'll stick. Haldeman's probably got a team of lawyers getting him out of it as we speak. I'm sure he does. All part of the dance. Franken. Where you going, Sid? Someplace where I don't have to think about the kind of world we live in. In other words, someplace that doesn't exist. And he goes up onto the roof, and he's got a beer in his hand. And Cap shows up. How's it going? Yeah, I'm indulging in a liquid lunch. Not the first time, that's for sure. You're looking none the worse for wear after the tumble you took. How about a beer? No thanks. I'm on duty. I read the story in the Bugle. Nice work. You know, Halderman's resignation is probably smoke screening a whole mess of covert dirt Roxon's responsibility for. That could very well be, Mr. Franken. For every evil we can see, you can bet there are 10 evils we can't. We live in a complicated world. We all have to adapt if we're going to continue the struggle for what's right. Yeah? So why don't you do something about it? You wear the mask. You carry the shield. I'm not above the law. We're all in this together, doing the same job, just in different ways. Bastions of truth, huh? I don't know. Maybe Halderman's right. Maybe it is all about corporations, a world gone wrong. You're a reporter. If you truly believe that, then tell the world. If you're right, maybe we'll all do something to change it. So I keep reporting the news, the real truth, and what's my fellow man's responsibility in this equation? To always be vigilant. I wonder how much we don't know, how much we'll never know. Then I guess you better get to work. Yeah, I suppose so. And Cap leaps from the top of the building. The end. Yeah, what'd you think of the story?
I love this story. It's an unusual story. I think you would agree. But it is instructive, right? It's very detailed. And if you think about it, most of the story isn't really about Cap. It's about Sid and Dan, these two reporters trying to like uncover the truth, the complex truth of this story, which seems very timely, certainly today, but
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. But certainly back in the 90s as well. And I think from the, in terms of writing, it really, it's a very interesting take on a Captain America story, one that I don't think we've seen before and we haven't seen since.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're right. It kind of felt like Joe Casey wanted to tell the story, and any character would have done. And
sure,
it should have happened to have been Cap.
Yeah. Although it did have some very nice sort of Cap speeches in there about the importance of truth and the First Amendment and perseverance and things like that. That I think Cap is uniquely positioned to beat the drum about those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and listen, this whole corporation thing is a little too timely for my benefit. I mean,
right.
You saw what happened in Delaware recently, right?
Sure. Yeah.
It's crazy. So, and for people who, and this comes out a few weeks after we record this, but recently in the news in Fenwick Island, Delaware, which, by the way, I was born and raised in Delaware, so I know this all very, very well. And apparently, corporations can now vote just like a human can. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
right. Yeah,
That is
that
absolutely crazy. And Delaware has so many corporations because it's good for business,
yeah,
and they set it up that way. And there's all these corporations that are they have a home, as you could say,
yeah,
in Delaware, and it's just to think. I mean, because that's not going to stop. That's not the last of this, right? Like it's just going to keep going and getting worse.
right. Yeah, and I mean this story obviously very very prescient considering it came out in 1999. So what, almost 30 years, not quite 30 years, but close enough for government work, pointing toward a world that we're all experiencing on a daily basis. And so you know, I thought the story was great. I think it does make you think. It does make you
Hmm.
appreciate, I think, the press a little more. It's
Yes.
tough work,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of things they got to consider. And I thought
Hmm.
it did a really nice job. Obviously very shorthand, but showing what goes on, in the editor's room,
Hmm.
to try to figure out what's going to print.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, as a communication professional, as a marketing guy, but I've dealt with PR and journalism and things like that throughout my career. Um, yes, I could tell you that you know, and people who are friends with me on Facebook probably get tired of me saying this, but where you get your news matters. And I'm not going to get political here, but I am going to say that it is really, really important where you get your news. If you are getting your news with a source that you agree with all the time when it comes to politics, chances are it's not a good source. And I don't care if you're far left, far right, it doesn't matter. Um, and there is a company out there that I like. It's called Media. I think I'll put a link in the show notes. Fontes Media, and they do a chart on news, and they do it for TV news, for web news, radio news, podcasts, you name it. And in this graph, it is from the delta, for top to bottom. The further you go up, the more accurate you are, and the further you're down, the less accurate you are. And then bias goes left to right based on political view. So obviously, the ones that you want are the ones at the top in the center, because that's going to be the less biased news. And if you're curious where your source shows up, then check this out. And um, these they have a methodology to ensure that they're not just getting far right people doing this or far left people doing this. Like it's a balance, and whatever. Um, but and again, there's not going to be a news source out there that has zero bias. It's all about having less bias.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and so I highly advise that for people, because where you get your news matters. And I think this story helps demonstrate that.
Yeah. Right. And just it's a great use of the comic genre to give you an interesting story, give you an inspiring story, but teach you a little bit about how the world works too. It hits all the right notes for me.
Well, speaking of inspiring, you go first, Bob. What's your favorite panel?
Ooh, I am gonna go, and I got my big old omnibus here, so hard to say,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's about 16 pages in, and it's that scene that you mentioned. Actually, it's a third splash, bottom third, and it's Caps overlooking the city, looking at the Roxxon building.
Mm.
And I like this because Cap is really in silhouette, and so every color on his uniform except the white is black, and the white parts are really see-through. So it's almost like a negative space variant. John Tyler Christopher's work, his negative space covers come to mind. So you can actually see like the sky, that sky blue, wherever the white is on Cap's uniform, and he's standing there with his shield and his one leg up on the edge of the building, looking down at the Roxxon building. I think this is a really nicely put together panel.
Nice choice. I like that.
Yeah,
I probably looked at it too fast, but now that you pointed it out, I agree.
yeah, very cool. Now, how about you, Rick?
Um, so for me, mine's a little more fun. It is uh, on Marvel Limited. It's page 34, but it's the final panel, and it's the one where Cap and Flag Smasher are falling out of the building, going past the billboard,
Oh yeah,
and I just thought that was fun storytelling. And
yes,
because there's smoke coming up from his cigar and it's mixing with the smoke that's coming off of the explosion and them falling. So I liked the I don't know, I thought that was fun.
yeah, and it gives you a nice a nice sense of the scale, right? Because in that previous panel we saw the size of that billboard on the side of the building, and you see Cap and Flag Smasher falling past that billboard, so you get a sense of like how far they're actually falling before they hit the other rooftop. So
Yeah,
nice pick.
good point.
Yeah, how about your T-shirt, Rick?
I'm going to go with the 22 last panel, and that's the one that has Cap jumping off the building. Because it despite the coloring of the stripe, I do like the pose, but I also like the quote where it says, "But don't quote me on that."
There you go.
I want that on my shirt.
That was my choice too, Rick. Now I got to flex.
Ah,
That's a good one. You finally scooped me, man. After all this
finally.
time. Yeah.
You mean I have never done it before? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I have.
I don't know, but this is definitely a scoop. So,
All right.
good choice. Definitely a good choice. So, I'm going to go, right back to that same page that I picked before, Rick, except I'm going to go to the top 1/3 splash. And that is also Cap after he waves goodbye to the shield, the Schuber that just dropped him off. That very next panel where he's jumping off the building,
Uh-huh.
and he's got the shield in his right hand, and he's got his left hand sort of, out in front of him like this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to just slap that on a shirt because I think that's kind of cool as well.
What's going in time capsule?
I think I'm going to have to go with, I know it seems crazy, but this is the first appearance of Sid Franken and Dan Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And, they kind of remind me of, all the President's Men, right?
Ah, me too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing is, they've never been used since. So first
Mm.
of all, I think a fantasy draft is coming up,
Mm.
and it does strike me. I was thinking about it because I had previously used a reporter in a fantasy draft that I don't think had ever been used again, and it was the one that interviewed Cap after he thought Sharon had been immolated,
Mm-hmm.
and I used her in a fantasy draft. But the thing is, Sid Franken was featured in Jessica Jones, the TV show.
Really?
Yeah, right. So they pulled him out of obscurity in live action, but never
That's
appeared.
crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, never appeared again in any other comics.
Huh.
So, and I think they're pretty good characters, right? I mean, they got a lot of face time in this
Mm.
story,
Yeah.
so it
Well,
surprises me.
this Angel must be worth a lot if it's the first appearance of Sid Franken after he's been
Well,
on
yeah,
MCU.
that's why I got 10 copies, Rick. I'm no
Nice.
fool.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm gonna go with the first appearance of Flag Smasher in this uniform
Slash, yeah.
appearance, look, whatever you want to call
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A funny thing is I went back because it said the last time, we saw Flag Smasher was, I think it was in Marvel Team Up number 3, right? And it was Spider-Man and Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not figure out where he fell in the water. I mean, I read through it pretty quickly, and because I thought it would have been connected to that appearance.
Yeah, well,
But he
oddly
seemed
enough,
fine in the last,
yeah,
last
he
appearance.
actually appeared in 2 stories after that.
Oh, did he?
He played in X-Man. He was in issue 35 in 1998, and then X-Men Unlimited 22 in 99. So,
All right.
but I
That
don't
might have been
recall.
why I missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know why that Marvel team up kind of stuck with me, Rick?
Why is that?
Because Spider-Man, he makes a funny crack about skylights.
Ah, does he now?
Yeah, and how they're in every building and people always come through them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought of you when I read that. So
Nice. Nice. All right. Well, Bob, I'm glad we did this one.
Yeah, me too.
Next episode, come back. We'll have a different comic. We haven't picked it out yet. But you know what? After that, we've got some really cool episodes, right? So episode 298, we have a guest joining the show, and it is going to be an artist. I don't want to say who it is yet. And then in episode 299, we are going to finish the Mad Bomb story. So we're going to do parts 7 and 8 of Jack Kirby's Mad Bomb, which is Captain America 199 and 200. We thought that would be perfect timing because that's around the same time, because that was 76 with the bicentennial. This will be the same time with America's 250th anniversary coming out. So that'll come out just a couple days after that.
Yeah.
And then episode 300 is right around the corner, and we're going to do our next Cap Community Theater. So a bunch of fun episodes coming up.
Yeah, a lot of folks looking forward to that episode 300.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear all the voices.
Yeah.
All right, Bob, any final words?
Nope, can't wait till next week, Rick.
All right. For Bob Lucius, I'm Rick Verbanis, and we thank you for listening to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast.